Captain Aaron Cole adjusted his flight jacket and stepped off the shuttle, blinking at the bright lights of Viridia Spaceport. The planet was known for its neutral trade zones, where humans, aliens, and traders from all over the galaxy came together. Ships of all shapes and sizes hovered above the landing pads while drones zipped back and forth, moving cargo with careful precision. Aaron loved the chaos. It reminded him of home on Earth, but bigger, stranger, and infinitely more exciting. He was here for a simple mission: deliver a shipment of rare minerals to the Aurelians and return home safely. Humans often joked about being unpredictable, and Aaron was no exception. He carried a small satchel filled with Earth delicacies, hoping they might impress his alien contacts. As he walked through the crowd, he noticed the typical mix of species: the four-armed Draxians arguing over trade prices, the shimmering translucent Zorians haggling in high-pitched tones, and the towering Aurelians, with their glowing skin and regal posture, moving with perfect grace. One thing he had learned in spaceports like this: watch your step, watch your tongue, and never underestimate etiquette. Unfortunately, Aaron was not watching his step. As he turned a corner, trying to readjust his satchel, he collided with someone tall and radiant. His bag slipped, scattering small packets of Earth chocolates across the polished floor. I'm so sorry," Aaron blurted, bending quickly to pick them up. The figure before him froze. She was taller than most humans, with luminous skin that shifted subtly in color. Her long hair seemed to float slightly as if it had a life of its own, and her eyes, large and expressive, fixed on him. Aaron's breath caught. "Oh," he said, fumbling for words. "I didn't see you there. It is fine," she said softly. Her voice carried a musical quality that made his ears tingle. In his nervousness, Aaron did the one thing he immediately regretted. You're beautiful," he said, his words rushing out before his brain could catch up. The princess's eyes widened and a faint blush spread across her cheeks. Not the kind of blush humans usually showed, but a glowing warmth in her skin that spoke volumes. Aaron froze, realizing he had just violated every rule of interstellar diplomacy he had ever learned. The crowd around them seemed oblivious. Draxians continued to argue, Zorians continued to haggle, and cargo drones hummed past. But Aaron felt a strange connection, like the air between them had shifted. The princess's eyes softened, and for a brief moment the palace-like aura she carried faded, leaving just a curious, almost human expression. Aaron's mind raced. Abort mission? Flee? Apologize again? But before he could say anything else, the princess bent slightly and picked up one of the chocolates he had dropped. She examined it carefully, then handed it back. "You give food?" she asked, her accent lilting. "Yes," Aaron said, embarrassed. "It's a human treat. We call it chocolate." He smiled nervously. "It's sweet. I thought you might like it." The princess tilted her head, studying him with keen interest. She did not speak for a moment, only letting her eyes communicate curiosity. Aaron noticed that her telepathic presence was faint but undeniable. He had read about how Aurelians could sense emotions, sometimes without even trying. Was she sensing my nervousness? "Interesting," she finally said, placing the chocolate back in his hand. "You humans are bold," Aaron chuckled awkwardly. "You could say that." He tried to bow but nearly stumbled on his own boots. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to say that," he stammered, waving at the scattered chocolates. "It's just, sorry?" The princess smiled faintly, and her glow dimmed just a little. "You are clumsy," she said softly. "But not unkind," Aaron breathed a quiet sigh of relief. He was still mortified, but at least she wasn't angry. In fact, there was something almost playful in her voice. Suddenly, a sharp voice interrupted them. "Princess Lyria, are you engaged in conversation with a human?" Aaron glanced over to see a tall Aurelian guard striding toward them. His armor glinted like liquid metal, and his eyes were focused, alert, and disapproving. "Yes, this human dropped something," Lyria said, her voice calm but firm. She looked back at Aaron. "He is useful." "Useful?" Aaron whispered, raising an eyebrow. Lyria gave him a small shrug. "For chocolate retrieval." Aaron blinked, then laughed. It was the kind of nervous laugh that only humans made in awkward situations. The guard's eyes narrowed, clearly unimpressed. "Princess, we must proceed," he said. "There is a diplomatic briefing shortly." Lyria nodded. She looked at Aaron one last time before walking away with her guard. But as she moved, Aaron caught a flash of curiosity in her eyes, like she was reconsidering what she thought she knew about humans. Alone now, Aaron bent down to gather the rest of the chocolates. A small alien child, one of the palace attendants, peeked from behind a crate and whispered, "She likes you. Humans are unusual." Aaron almost dropped the chocolate again. She likes me?" he whispered back, barely believing it. The child giggled and disappeared. Aaron shook his head. "This is impossible. I just called a princess beautiful in front of everyone. This should be a disaster, not a possibility." He walked toward the spaceport exit, trying to collect his composure. His mind was already racing with questions. Who was this princess really? Why did her reaction feel so genuine? And why did he feel an unexpected pull toward her, even though he had only just met her? As he stepped into the sunlight, the spaceport seemed even more alive. Ships hummed overhead, carrying messages, goods, and travelers across the galaxy. Humans were often underestimated in these alien cities, seen as unpredictable, sometimes foolish, but always resilient. Aaron felt a surge of pride. Maybe being bold isn't so bad, he thought. Sometimes it works. He did not notice the small figure of Princess Lyria observing him from a distance, her cheeks still glowing faintly. She whispered softly to herself, bold and strange. Interesting. For Aaron, the day had started as a simple delivery mission. By a small accident and an unguarded compliment, it had become the beginning of something neither human nor Aurelian could fully understand. It was the start of an unusual friendship, one that would challenge customs, spark curiosity, and perhaps change the galaxy in ways neither of them could imagine. The spaceport faded behind him as he walked toward his shuttle, chocolates carefully bagged, mind spinning with possibilities. Somewhere deep inside, Aaron felt that humans had a place in this strange universe, and maybe, just maybe, he had just taken the first step toward proving it. The shuttle hummed softly as it lifted off from Viridia Spaceport. Captain Aaron Cole sat in the pilot seat, trying to calm his racing heart. The encounter with Princess Lyria had left him both embarrassed and strangely exhilarated. He kept replaying the moment in his mind, the way her cheeks glowed, the soft musical tone of her voice, the way her eyes had studied him as if he were something fascinating and new. He shook his head. "Calm down, Aaron. It was just a compliment. Don't read too much into it." Yet deep down, he couldn't ignore the feeling that this mission had suddenly become something far more complicated than delivering minerals. By the time the shuttle reached the orbiting palace of the Aurelians, Aaron had attempted and failed to mentally prepare for his first formal meeting with the princess. The palace floated above Viridia like a jewel, suspended by anti-gravity fields and illuminated by the twin suns reflecting off its silver towers. Humans were not used to seeing such elegance in motion, and Aaron couldn't help but marvel. The shuttle docked smoothly, and he was escorted into the main atrium by two tall Aurelian guards. The floor beneath him was polished crystal, reflecting the soft light from above. Every movement of the Aurelians around him was precise, their expressions calm and almost unreadable. Then he saw her. Princess Lyria floated toward him on her platform shoes, her long hair shimmering in the palace light. Her eyes met his, and she gave a small, almost imperceptible smile. Aaron's stomach twisted. Why am I nervous around her? I've faced asteroid storms, mercenaries, and rogue pirates, but this is different. "Welcome, Captain Aaron Cole," she said, her voice calm but warm. "You have traveled far for these minerals. I hope your journey was pleasant." "Yes, Your Highness," Aaron said, bowing slightly. He tried to remember the proper protocol, the correct tone, the right posture. "Why is this so much harder than dodging a space mine?" "You may address me as Lyria," she said softly, tilting her head. "Formality is not always necessary," Aaron blinked. Okay, Lyria, got it." The guards exchanged a look. It was subtle, but Aaron noticed. They were cautious of him, likely sensing the unpredictability that humans brought wherever they went. Lyria gestured toward the balcony overlooking the city below. "Come, walk with me. There is much to see." As they walked, Aaron noticed the differences in their species. Aurelians were taller, thinner, and moved with perfect rhythm. Their skin subtly changed color to reflect mood and emotion, though they often kept it controlled. Humans, Aaron realized, were loud, messy, and unpredictable. Yet there was something captivating about that unpredictability. "So, humans, you eat chocolate often?" Lyria asked, her eyes studying the small bag of treats he still carried. Yes, sometimes. It's a comfort food, I guess, Aaron said, holding it up. We eat it when we celebrate, when we're stressed, well, pretty much any time. He laughed nervously. Lyria tilted her head, her glowing cheeks hinting at amusement. Curious. A simple food brings so much emotion. Humans are strange creatures, Aaron laughed again. Strange, yes, but we have our ways. They walked past the palace gardens, which floated like islands in the air, connected by shimmering bridges of light. Flowers with colors humans could barely describe swayed in gentle artificial breezes. Aaron had never seen such beauty, and he found himself forgetting his nervousness, letting curiosity take over. Do you enjoy our gardens? Lyria asked, floating beside him gracefully. They're amazing, Aaron admitted. I mean, the plants, the way they float, it's like magic. I've seen a lot of worlds, but this is different. Lyria's glow softened. Humans see beauty in simple things. You notice what others might overlook. Aaron smiled. I guess that's true. We pay attention to details. Or maybe we just get lucky. They reached a balcony overlooking the bustling city below. The streets were filled with Aurelians gliding past each other in perfect harmony. Humans were rare here, and Aaron noticed some citizens staring curiously at him. He waved awkwardly, and Lyria chuckled softly. You are bold, she said, her voice low enough that only he could hear. Most would not approach strangers so openly. Aaron shrugged. I guess I don't always follow the rules. Sometimes it works out. He looked at her carefully. Sometimes it doesn't, though. Lyria's eyes flickered with a hint of blush. I see. The palace quieted as they entered a large hall where her advisors waited. They were all tall, imposing, and perfectly still, their faces unreadable. Aaron felt the weight of their gaze as if they were measuring him, calculating his every flaw. Captain Cole, one advisor said, his voice deep and controlled. You have traveled far. We hope your intentions are aligned with Aurelian interests. Yes, of course, Aaron said quickly, trying to keep his tone respectful but not stiff. I'm here to trade minerals and ensure cooperation between our peoples. The advisors nodded, their expressions unreadable. Lyria gave him a small smile. She seemed to enjoy the way he navigated the formalities with awkward charm. After the meeting, Lyria guided him to a quiet balcony overlooking the twin suns setting in the distance. You are different from what I expected, she said softly. Humans, they're chaotic, yes, but there is courage and honesty in you, Aaron blinked. Honesty? I guess I am. I don't know if that's good or bad. She smiled faintly. It is rare and valuable. For a moment, silence fell between them. The glow in her skin dimmed, but her eyes remained bright. Aaron realized he could speak freely here, away from the rigid protocol of the court. You know, he said slowly, I never thought I'd meet a princess who doesn't just follow rules. You're curious. You ask questions. That's unusual for royalty anywhere, not just in your world. Her blush returned slightly, a gentle warmth across her cheeks. Perhaps I am learning. Humans teach lessons I did not expect. Aaron laughed softly. I hope those lessons are good ones. Perhaps both, she said, glancing down at the city. You show me spontaneity, laughter. These emotions humans carry are powerful. Aaron realized she was being sincere. He had read about Aurelians keeping emotions controlled, but here was one. A princess letting herself experience something simple. Human. It was strange, inspiring, and a little intimidating. Lyria, he said carefully, I don't know how far this friendship, or whatever this is, can go, but I do know that humans, well, at least me, value honesty, courage, and respect, and I respect you. Truly. She looked at him, her glow warming like the first rays of a rising sun. I see. Perhaps I will learn more from humans, perhaps and from you. The sound of distant bells from the city below reminded them both that the evening was falling. Aaron noticed how unusual it felt to have this kind of conversation with an alien. He had met many intelligent species, but none like this. So regal, yet so open, so foreign, yet so strangely human in curiosity. As they returned to the palace, a small incident occurred. One of the younger Aurelians accidentally dropped a floating tray of drinks. Aaron moved instinctively, catching it before it crashed. Lyria's eyes widened slightly and her cheeks glowed faintly. You think quickly, she said softly. Aaron shrugged, grinning. I guess humans are good at improvising. Her gaze lingered on him, and he realized that this simple human quality, the ability to act without perfect calculation, was fascinating to her. In her world, everything was measured, precise, and controlled. Humans were messy, chaotic, and unpredictable, yet effective in their own way. By the time Aaron returned to his quarters, he was exhausted. Not from travel or formalities, but from the whirlwind of emotions, curiosity, and excitement. The princess had intrigued him, yes, but more than that, he had begun to see the potential of humans in a galaxy ruled by rules, logic, and caution. Humans could surprise. Humans could inspire. Humans could change perspectives, even those of a princess. And somewhere in the palace, Princess Lyria was thinking the same thing. The human had entered her world unexpectedly, clumsily, yet with sincerity. He had shown courage, humor, and honesty, the very qualities her people often dismissed as unpredictable or reckless. For both of them, the day ended with a quiet realization. Perhaps humans were more than outsiders. Perhaps they were necessary. And perhaps this encounter, the accidental compliment, the shared laughter, the small lessons in courage and spontaneity, was only the beginning. The calm of the Aurelian's floating palace was deceptive. Aaron Cole, still carrying the memory of Princess Lyria's subtle blush and quiet admiration, walked through the crystal halls with a growing sense of unease. Something was off. Even in a world of perfection, the human mind could sense danger before it arrived, and his instincts, honed from years of exploring the galaxy, were tingling. Captain Cole, a voice echoed softly behind him. Lyria appeared at the end of the corridor, her eyes serious for the first time that day. I feel a disturbance. Something is coming. Something dangerous, Aaron frowned. Dangerous? How dangerous? Not from within our palace, she replied, her glowing skin dimming slightly, a clear sign of unease among Aurelians. From the shadows of space, they watch us, waiting. Aaron's mind immediately raced through possibilities. Pirates, rival planets, rogue mercenaries. He had faced them all, but something about the calm weight of Lyria's voice made him pause. They're clever, she continued. They know our systems. They know our strategies, but they do not know humans. Aaron blinked. We're unpredictable. You mean that's supposed to be good? Perhaps. The galaxy will see it soon, she said quietly. Before Aaron could ask more, an urgent alarm rang through the palace. Red lights reflected off the crystal floors, and a deep hum vibrated in the air as the defense systems activated. Aaron had seen similar systems on human ships, but the precision here was different. Every movement calculated, every response measured. Yet something was missing, the ability to improvise. They're here, a guard announced. Scytherians, cloaked ships approaching Viridia orbit. They bypassed our long-range sensors. Aaron's pulse quickened. Scytherians were notorious for their stealth and ruthlessness. They had long resented the Aurelians' influence in the galaxy, and now, it seemed, they had chosen this moment to strike. Lyria, he said firmly, we need a plan. Your people are precise, yes, but sometimes precision alone isn't enough. Humans, we improvise. Lyria regarded him thoughtfully, her blush returning faintly, not from embarrassment, but from a spark of admiration. You would help us? Aaron smiled. Of course. I don't back down from danger. That's the human way. They moved to the command chamber, a large circular room filled with glowing panels and holographic maps. The Council of Aurelians was already in session, their expressions controlled, almost unreadable. Captain Cole, one advisor began. This is not your battle. You are human. We do not require your assistance. Aaron met the advisor's cold gaze evenly. You may think that, but humans have a different way of thinking. I can see angles your sensors might miss, tricks your logic cannot predict. If you want to survive this attack, you'll need human ingenuity. The council murmured among themselves. Lyria's hand brushed lightly against Aaron's arm, a subtle signal of trust. The advisor stiffened, unused to such open displays of confidence. Very well, Lyria said, her voice carrying authority. We will hear him. Captain Cole, what do you suggest? Aaron quickly outlined his plan. Blending human creativity with Aurelian precision, he proposed decoy drones, fake energy signatures, and temporary camouflage fields to confuse the Scytherians. But the key was improvisation, allowing humans to respond to situations that even the most advanced sensors could not anticipate. The council hesitated. To them, chaos was dangerous, but Lyria nodded, her glow affirming Aaron's approach. "We trust him. Proceed." As the palace prepared, Aaron moved to the observation deck. Through the transparent walls, he could see the Zetherian ships emerging from their cloaking field, sleek and black, their weapons primed. Most would rely on standard protocols, scanning for energy fluctuations and calculating intercepts. But humans, especially Aaron, relied on instinct. He activated a small series of holographic decoys, projecting false heat signatures across the orbit. The Zetherians immediately shifted course, believing they had detected valuable targets. "They are reacting," Aaron said, watching the ship scramble, "just as I hoped. But this is only the start." Suddenly, a Zetherian vessel broke through closer than expected. Its energy cannons locked onto the palace. Without thinking, Aaron activated the shuttle's emergency thrusters, sending it on a daring intercept path. Using a combination of speed, misdirection, and precise manual piloting, he managed to draw the ship away from the palace long enough for the Aurelians to counterattack safely. Lyria watched from the control platform, her eyes wide. She had never seen such courage or such improvisation. Her blush deepened slightly, a faint glow across her cheeks. Aaron's human methods were not just strange, they were effective. Once the immediate threat passed, the council convened again. Even the most skeptical advisors nodded in approval. Humans were unpredictable, yes, but sometimes unpredictability saved lives. "Captain Cole," Lyria said quietly, approaching him, "your actions have saved many. You are clever in ways we did not expect." Aaron shrugged, trying to hide his pride. "Just doing what humans do best: think fast, act fast, survive." Her laugh was soft, melodic, and slightly nervous. "Survive, yes. You teach me lessons humans carry." The rest of the day passed in a blur of minor repairs, reorganizing defenses, and ensuring the palace remained secure. Aaron found moments to talk with Lyria, sharing simple human insights: how laughter could ease tension, how improvisation often succeeded where rigid rules failed, and how courage sometimes meant risking everything for what is right. As night fell over Viridia, the palace floated like a silver beacon above the city lights. Aaron found himself on the balcony again, staring at the stars. The twin suns had dipped below the horizon and the first moons were rising. "Aaron," Lyria said softly, appearing beside him. "You do not fear." Aaron shook his head. "Fear? Sure, but humans don't let fear stop them. We find ways to face danger and survive. It's what we do." Her glow brightened faintly, a blush returning to her cheeks. "You are strange, yet admirable," Aaron grinned. "I'll take that as a compliment." For the first time, he noticed how natural it felt to be beside her, to share thoughts and strategies, to laugh softly in the quiet moments between chaos. Humans had a way of connecting, of breaking barriers, even across species. And now he realized that the connection with Lyria was more than diplomacy. It was genuine curiosity, respect, and perhaps the beginning of friendship. "Tomorrow," Lyria said, her voice low, "we may face more challenges, but I feel different knowing you are here." Aaron nodded. "We humans, we adapt, we survive, and we help friends survive too." As he returned to his quarters that night, Aaron reflected on the events. The Zetherians had tested them, but humans had made the difference. The improvisation, courage, and quick thinking that were often dismissed as recklessness had saved the palace. He realized with quiet pride that humans truly had a place in the galaxy, not just as explorers or traders, but as beings capable of shaping events, inspiring others, and proving their value. Somewhere in the palace, Lyria was watching the stars from her own window. She thought of Aaron, his boldness, his strange human humor, and the bravery that had saved her people. She smiled faintly, feeling warmth in her chest that she did not fully understand. His presence was unsettling and comforting at the same time, a reminder that the universe held surprises beyond her structured world. And for both of them, one truth had become clear: humans were not just unpredictable, they were remarkable. The night settled over Viridia, but the bond between human and princess had already begun to form, quietly, strongly, and in ways that would shape the events to come. The shadow of danger had tested them, but it had also revealed the power of courage, ingenuity, and trust between worlds. And for Aaron Cole, it was just another day in a galaxy where humans could surprise, inspire, and make a difference, sometimes with nothing more than quick thinking, courage, and a little bit of charm. The morning sun broke over Viridia, casting a soft golden glow across the floating palace. Captain Aaron Cole had barely slept, but he didn't mind. The Zytherian threat had been pushed back, yet Aaron knew it was only a matter of time before new challenges arose. The key was preparation and trust. Princess Lyria appeared at his quarters with her usual grace, but there was a seriousness in her eyes that immediately captured Aaron's attention. "Captain," she said softly, "the council will meet again today. They are hesitant. Some still doubt humans. They see unpredictability as danger." Aaron smiled faintly. "Sometimes danger is just an opportunity in disguise. If we show them humans can be useful, maybe they'll change their minds." Lyria's glow brightened slightly, a subtle blush tracing her cheeks. "You are bold. I like that." Aaron's stomach did a small flip and he laughed nervously. "Bold, maybe. Reckless occasionally. But useful. I hope so." Together they entered the council chamber, a vast room where the walls shimmered with holographic displays of star systems and planetary maps. The council members were seated in precise order, their faces calm, almost cold. But Lyria's presence made them pause. Her confidence gave her words weight beyond the typical protocols. "Council," Lyria began, "the human Captain Cole has proven his courage and skill. He has acted with clarity and wisdom where calculations alone could not. We must consider collaboration." An advisor's eyes narrowed. "Your Highness, humans are unpredictable. Their methods may succeed, or fail catastrophically. How can we rely on them?" Aaron stepped forward, his voice steady. "Because humans adapt. We don't just follow rules, we find solutions when rules fail. We improvise, we take risks, and we protect our allies. That unpredictability isn't weakness, it's strength. And I have already proven that strength by helping your palace survive." The room fell silent. Even the skeptics could not deny the facts. The palace had survived a direct Zytherian attack thanks to Aaron's actions. Lyria smiled faintly at him, a subtle glow marking her approval. "See, Council? Humans are not threats, they are allies," the Council murmured, some nodding reluctantly. Aaron noticed small signs of change, advisors whispering, exchanging glances, realizing that perhaps the human way was more valuable than they had admitted. After the council meeting, Lyria led Aaron to the palace gardens where floating pathways wound around suspended flower islands. The air was filled with a gentle hum of life and energy, and the twin suns reflected off the crystalline petals of flowers. "You understand humans in ways my advisors cannot," Lyria said softly, her glow faintly illuminating the path. "You see value in things? Unseen, unnoticed, we focus on logic and efficiency, but humans, you notice the heart of the matter." Aaron shrugged. "Maybe humans just notice because we're messy. We make mistakes, we improvise, we laugh, and sometimes that makes all the difference." Lyria laughed softly, a sound like bells in the morning light. "Your laughter? It is strange yet comforting. I enjoy it." Aaron's blush matched hers, though he tried to hide it. "Thanks, I enjoy your company too. You're different from any leader I've met. You don't just follow rules, you question them, and that's rare." She glanced at him, her eyes thoughtful. "Perhaps I am learning. Humans teach. Lessons unexpected. Courage, laughter, trust. These are not weaknesses. They are power." As they walked, a commotion broke out near the lower gardens. Citizens were gathered, whispering and pointing. A group of Zytherian spies had tried to infiltrate the city, blending among the Aurelians. Aaron's instincts kicked in immediately. He grabbed a nearby crystal rod, a common palace tool, and activated it to emit a blinding light. The spies were stunned, giving Aurelians enough time to capture them. Lyria watched him, her cheeks glowing faintly. "You act without fear, yet without recklessness. You protect others. Humans call this courage?" "Exactly," Aaron said, lowering the rod. "Humans protect their friends and allies. It's part of who we are. You trust us and we trust you back. That trust is stronger than any weapon." She smiled, her blush deepening. "Perhaps this is the bridge between worlds. Humans and Aurelians. Together, not just allies, but more." Aaron caught the meaning behind her words, though he didn't respond immediately. There was something in her tone that spoke of trust, admiration, and curiosity. This is bigger than diplomacy, he realized. This is about connecting species, teaching them that humans have value beyond technology or strength. As evening approached, Lyria invited him to the palace observatory. The room was filled with holographic star maps, showing the surrounding sectors and trade routes. She pointed to the Zytherian-controlled areas. "They will try again," she said quietly. "Their attacks may grow stronger, but I believe humans, and you can help us prevent it." Aaron leaned forward, studying the maps. "We'll need a mix of strategy and improvisation. Predictable defenses only go so far. Humans think ahead and sideways. We'll use misdirection, unexpected routes, and quick responses. I'll show you." For hours they planned. Lyria asked questions, learned human techniques, and suggested ways to integrate them with Aurelian technology. The glow on her cheeks indicated excitement, curiosity, and something deeper, admiration. By the time they finished, the palace was ready. Drones were set to create holographic decoys. Energy shields had been reconfigured and rapid response teams were positioned. Humans and Aurelians were no longer working separately. They were a single unit, combining logic and creativity, precision and unpredictability. As they stepped onto the observatory balcony, the twin moons rose over the city, casting a silver glow across the floating towers. Aaron turned to Lyria. "You know," he said softly, "we humans don't always fit in. But we do more than survive. We inspire, we connect, we make a difference. Maybe that's what you see in us." Lyria's glow softened and her blush returned, faint but undeniable. "Yes, Captain Cole, you show what humans can bring. Courage, laughter, trust. These are powers." Aaron smiled, feeling warmth spread through him. "And you show what leaders can do when they see value beyond rules. You're teaching me too, Lyria. Humans may be unpredictable, but so are you. And together, maybe we're stronger than anyone thinks." She nodded, her eyes shining. "Together, we are strong, perhaps stronger than the galaxy expects." The night passed quietly, but for both Aaron and Lyria, the experience had changed them. They had faced danger, learned from each other, and begun building a bridge between worlds. Humans were no longer just strangers in the palace. They were partners, friends, and perhaps something more. The next day, Aaron walked through the city with Lyria, showing her simple human gestures, how to laugh at small mistakes, how to improvise when plans fail, and how small acts of courage could inspire entire crowds. Citizens noticed the bond, whispering about the strange, fascinating human who had captured the princess's attention. By the time they returned to the palace, Aaron felt a quiet pride. Humans were unpredictable, yes, but they were also clever, brave, and capable of building trust across cultures. Lyria's blushes, her soft laughter, and her growing curiosity were proof that human qualities could inspire even the most disciplined species. That evening, as Aaron prepared for rest, he looked out over the city and smiled. The bridge between humans and Aurelians had begun, and it was stronger than either of them had imagined. They had faced fear, uncertainty, and skepticism, and emerged more united. Somewhere in the palace, Lyria looked at the stars again, thinking of Aaron. His boldness, laughter, and courage had opened something new in her, a belief that humans could be more than allies. They could be partners, equals, and a source of inspiration for her people. For both of them, one truth was clear: the galaxy was full of rules, dangers and challenges, but human ingenuity, courage, and trust could change everything, and together, they would face whatever came next. The floating palace of the Aurelians glimmered under the twin suns as Captain Aaron Cole prepared for what he knew could be the most dangerous day yet. The Zytherians were not finished. Their stealth ships were regrouping in the shadows of deep space, and Aaron knew that the next attack could be stronger, smarter, and more dangerous. But he was not alone. By now, Aaron had earned the trust of Princess Lyria, her council, and even the skeptical Aurelians who had once doubted humans. Together, they had built defenses that were both precise and unpredictable, blending Aurelian technology with human ingenuity. Lyria appeared at the balcony, her hair shimmering in the sunlight. Her cheeks carried the faint blush that had become familiar to Aaron, though this time it was not embarrassment. It was anticipation, excitement, and trust. "Are you ready, Captain?" she asked softly, her voice calm but firm. Aaron nodded, checking his equipment. Always, we've faced danger before. This time it will be ready for anything. The city below was quiet, almost serene, but Aaron's eyes scanned the skies. The Zytherians were approaching. He could see their ships materializing from stealth fields, black shapes moving with calculated precision. They are clever, Lyria said beside him. But they do not expect humans, Aaron smiled. Exactly, and that's why we'll win. In the command chamber, Aurelians and humans worked side by side. Aaron gave instructions, blending human improvisation with Aurelian strategy. Energy shields were adjusted, decoy drones deployed, and rapid response teams positioned at key points. The plan was simple in concept but brilliant in execution: mislead, confuse, and counterattack with precision. As the Zytherian ships entered orbit, their energy weapons glowing ominously, Aaron activated the first stage of his strategy. Holographic decoys projected false energy signatures across the city, tricking the enemy ships into targeting empty areas. Explosions lit the skies, but no real damage occurred. Impressive, Lyria said, her blush returning faintly. Your humans think in ways we do not, Aaron grinned. Sometimes rules are best broken. A Zytherian command ship moved closer than expected, locking onto the palace's main energy core. Aaron's pulse quickened. He activated the shuttle's thrusters and maneuvered directly between the ship and the palace, using speed and unpredictability to draw its fire. His human instincts guided every move, dodging lasers and creating openings for the Aurelians to strike. Lyria watched, her glow brightening with pride. She had never seen such courage. Not in her guards, not in her advisors. Aaron was human, yes, but he was more. Clever, brave, and willing to risk everything to protect others. The palace defenses struck back in perfect coordination. Energy beams crisscrossed the sky, and the Zytherian ships faltered under the combined assault. Aaron's decoys confused their sensors further, allowing the Aurelians to disable the smaller vessels. During the chaos, Aaron noticed a small group of Zytherian fighters attempting to slip past the outer defenses. Without hesitation, he piloted his shuttle in a daring maneuver, intercepting them before they reached the city. His hands moved instinctively, calculating angles, predicting movement, and improvising with every second. The fighters were forced to retreat, overwhelmed by human ingenuity and Aurelians working together. Aaron's heart pounded, but his mind remained calm. Humans thrived under pressure. Chaos was their ally. Finally, the command ship, the largest of the Zytherians, hovered near the palace, its weapons nearly ready to strike. Aaron realized that this final challenge would require everything he and Lyria had prepared. Lyria, he said over the comm, I need you to coordinate the shields while I handle the ship. Timing will be everything. She nodded, her glow steady and reassuring. Do not fail, Captain Cole. Your courage inspires us. Aaron laughed softly, though it was tense. I won't. Humans don't fail when it matters most. The battle was intense. Aaron used every trick he had, weaving his shuttle between enemy lasers, creating holographic clones and guiding the Aurelians' counterattacks. Lyria adjusted the palace shields with perfect timing, redirecting energy flows to absorb hits and protect the city below. Finally, with a daring loop and precise strike, Aaron disabled the command ship's engines, leaving it adrift and powerless. The remaining Zytherian ships retreated, realizing that the humans and Aurelians were united and far more formidable than anticipated. The palace and the city were safe. The threat had been neutralized, at least for now. Lyria floated beside Aaron on the balcony, her eyes glowing with a mixture of relief and admiration. You, humans, are remarkable. You risk everything, yet remain clever and kind. Aaron shook his head, laughing softly. I just did what humans do best. Think fast, act fast, and protect the people we care about. Her blush deepened, warmer this time. You care even for strangers? Aaron smiled. Of course. Humans care. We care about friends, allies, and yes, even those who are strangers at first. That's how we survive. That's how we thrive. She studied him for a long moment, and Aaron felt a quiet tension in the air. It was not fear or danger, it was connection, understanding, trust. You have changed how I see humans, she said softly. You inspire me. You teach me courage, laughter, and trust. These are powers stronger than any weapon. Aaron felt warmth spread through him. He had always known humans were capable of great things, but hearing it from a princess, an alien royal, was beyond anything he could have imagined. "Lyria," he said carefully, "we humans are not perfect. We make mistakes. We improvise. We take risks, but we care, and we can make a difference. Together, humans and Aurelians, we're stronger." She smiled, her glow gentle and radiant. "Yes, and together, humans and Aurelians, we are strong. And perhaps we can show the galaxy a new way." The citizens of the city below began to gather on the floating platforms, looking up at the palace. Whispers spread quickly. The human had saved them, and the princess had stood by him. Many Aurelians had never seen such courage, such cleverness, such humanity. Aaron looked down at the city, smiling softly. Humans were often underestimated, dismissed as chaotic and unpredictable. Yet today their qualities, creativity, courage, empathy, had proven invaluable. Lyria floated beside him, her presence calming and reassuring. She reached out and lightly touched his arm, a gesture of trust and gratitude. "Captain Cole, you are extraordinary, not just as a human, but as a being of courage and heart." Aaron laughed softly, brushing his hand against hers in return. "I think maybe you're extraordinary too, Lyria. You're brave, wise, and willing to see the value in others. That's rare in any world." The twin suns set behind the horizon, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold. For the first time, Aaron felt a deep sense of peace. The battle was over. The city and the palace were safe, and he had formed a bond with someone who could change the way her people and the galaxy saw humans. "Tomorrow," Lyria said quietly, "we may face more challenges, but I am no longer afraid. Human, give me courage, you." "Give me courage," Aaron smiled. "And you give humans a reason to be even better. We inspire each other. That's how progress happens. That's how we thrive." They watched the first stars appear in the sky, reflecting on the floating gardens, the sparkling city, and the palace towers. For both of them, one truth was undeniable. Humans could adapt, inspire, and lead. And when humans and other species worked together, there were no limits. As night fell, the palace hummed with calm energy. Aaron retired to his quarters, reflecting on the journey. He had arrived on Viridia for a simple trade mission. Instead, he had found adventure, danger, friendship, and trust. He had discovered that human qualities, courage, creativity, empathy, were gifts the galaxy needed. Lyria, in her chambers, gazed out at the stars. Her thoughts returned to Aaron, his boldness, his laughter, and the way he had faced danger without fear. She realized that humans were not just allies, they were partners, teachers, and inspirations. The blush that had appeared the first day had returned many times since, each time signaling admiration, trust, and something deeper she did not yet name. Together, human and princess had proven that differences could unite instead of divide. Rules, customs, and logic were important, but heart, courage, and trust could change the course of events in ways no calculations could predict. The next morning, the twin suns rose once more over Viridia. Captain Aaron Cole and Princess Lyria stood side by side on the palace balcony, looking toward a galaxy full of possibilities. Humans had earned respect, trust, and admiration. Aurelians had learned to value courage, unpredictability, and empathy. And together, they had built a bridge between worlds. For Aaron, the adventure had shown him the power of human ingenuity and heart. For Lyria, it had revealed the potential of seeing beyond rules, beyond appearances, and trusting in others. And in that quiet, golden morning, one truth remained clear. The galaxy was bigger than fear or prejudice. With courage, trust, and cleverness, humans could inspire and protect, shaping the future in ways even royalty had never imagined. The story of their unlikely partnership had only just begun. But for now, at least, a new dawn had arrived, one where humans and Aurelians faced the universe together, stronger than ever.